all the best sports clips from around the country. Now, you're probably wondering, why should I watch over here instead of over there? Because over there, they don't care about what you have to say. They say this all the time. They talk down to us. They think we're just a bunch of clowns on YouTube, Twitter. But I think it's the opposite. I think we know exactly what we're talking about. So I read every single comment. So if you think what I'm saying is the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, let me know in the comments below. If you think what I'm saying is the most amazing thing, then definitely please let me know. Either way, let's get into some discussions, let's get into some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and it's turning into something truly, truly special. And I would absolutely love to see you part of it. So without further ado, let's get to it. We're watching a clip of First Things First, talking about the Chiefs being underdogs versus the Bills. Let's just jump right into it.
See it, but I'm flat-footed.
Oh. Okay.
I am mustering as much bass as possible in my voice.
Doesn't sound like it, but
I am saying this with full confidence, full-throated.
Okay.
Bills, Bills, Bills.
Oh, it's like a Destiny's Child. I mean,
That's right. The Bills will end Kansas City's season this weekend.
Okay.
A season that has been one of a lot of misery for them that we haven't seen in a long time for Kansas City. All right. Now, look, Nick, here's why. I think Buffalo, at least over the second half of the season, has been the better team. Chiefs played 500 football over the second half of the season.
True.
All right. Buffalo has beaten better teams. They've beaten 6 playoff teams. Kansas City's beaten 1, and that was the breakdancing Miami Dolphins. All right. And, of course, Buffalo's at home. They are much better at home. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen is much better at home. The turnover-prone, reckless Josh Allen, more so on the road, not at home. And Kansas City, I think, is going to go down because of that. We can see Josh Allen's playoff mark. He's not just good on the road. Look at the playoffs, Josh Allen, right? Mm-hmm. Nick. He's better in every category. Like the TD percentage, the interception percentage, his passer rating goes way up. He is a better player. Now, I know, he's had some.
See, and this is why I always, don't understand where all the slander comes towards Josh Allen. He's obviously really good. He's obviously a good quarterback, and he obviously doesn't choke in the playoffs, okay? He obviously elevates his game. He's obviously a really great elite player who has really just done the best with what he has to work with, which has been not a ton of offensive weapons, which has been not a great offensive either coordinator or, has a defensive head coach. So again, the whole thing of putting all this pressure on Josh Allen is just absurd, because the truth is as great and as amazing as Patrick Mahomes has been, and Patrick Mahomes is definitely the bulk of the reason why the Chiefs have been so good and won the Super Bowls. But they're not doing it. He's not doing it himself. And this is what I just keep saying, is that, Patrick Mahomes is doing this with significant help, okay? Steph Curry is not winning all the NBA finals without Clay, without Draymond, without KD. He needs that squad with him. LeBron James has never won a single NBA Finals without having another Hall of Famer by his side. Whether it's Kyrie, Kevin Love was Hall of Fame caliber. I don't know if he'll end up being because he sacrificed his career to play with LeBron, but Kevin Love was the real deal. No ifs, ands, or buts. Same thing with Bosh. Same thing with Wade. Same thing with AD. So again, this idea, just like who Mahomes has had such gifts on both offense and defense for that matter, especially this season in terms of defense, and less so offense this season. But Andy Reid is a GOAT. Just having Andy Reid alone, let's take away Kelsey and Tyreek Hill and any of these other people. Let's just have Mahomes and Reid. That alone puts you ahead of so many people. I mean, you have the GOAT offensive coach, and you're an offensive player, obviously being a quarterback. So again, it's just not this isn't apples to apples. These are not equal comparisons. And I think that's the thing that's starting to drive me crazy personally, is that these are just unfair comparisons. When we do this really with many teams, outside of maybe some of these other teams that have, other equal really good weapons. Because even like a Joe Burrow has had elite offensive weapons as well. But you can make the argument as like, well, how good is Joe Burrow's offensive-oriented head coach? You know, I mean, like, we don't really have strong feelings about that. You know, we really don't. Like, he was about to get fired, and then Joe Burrow came up and, took them to the just to higher levels of success. And it's like, great, now he's safe, So we don't really have this, like, strong sense. We know Andy Reid is bona fide. We know McVay is bona fide, legit. We know, did I say Shanahan? Shanahan, Reid, Reid, Shanahan, McVay. We know without a doubt. Some of these other people, not necessarily. Shane Steichen has just kind of proved his keep by being as good as they were with backup quarterback Gardner Minshew. So, again, these things really, really matter. And Josh Allen has just not, had that luxury.
Astronomically good playoff games against the Chiefs, obviously, and he's had some mediocre ones. But overall, he's a better quarterback in the playoffs than he is in the regular season. And so I do think that Buffalo will win this game. I think it's their time, and I think the Chiefs will go down.
Fork in the road moment for this show. Drew, I respect the pick. You know how much I respect you.
I know you fear it because of upset alert.
And I listen. This show is based on chemistry, and I hope this doesn't break that. Because I don't question your integrity ever.
You don't think
I think you have a little fear in your voice. I didn't hear bass. I heard trepidation. Yeah. I can't see your feet.
There's respect.
But I don't see. I don't feel like there's 10 toes down. And here's where I'm at. I've got Kansas City, and I've got Kansas City not in a great game. I've got Kansas City by 10 points, and I've had to sit here and listen to nonsense all week about these two teams whose resumes are identical, about these two teams who we heard about. I've heard from Coach all week about how mediocre Patrick Mahomes played on Saturday night. That mediocre performance, which also doubles as literally the greatest postseason performance in negative degree weather ever. And if you don't think it affects how you throw the ball, check literally any other playoff game played in those conditions. I heard so many tiny violins for the injuries Miami was dealing with, and not a mumbling word about TJ Watt missing the game Josh Allen played in. I've had to sit here all week and all year and hear about a broken, befuddled Kansas City Chiefs team. And what we're going to see on Sunday is Patrick Mahomes dissecting what's left of the Bills defense. What we're going to see on Sunday is what Bills fans...
Well, at least he's admitting that the Bills defense is decimated right now. They're down like 9 players. Again, how can we act like that doesn't matter? We know it obviously matters. Again, like I always say, is if it didn't matter, then we wouldn't care about any of these players. We wouldn't sign big name players. We wouldn't care how good they were. If it was just all a bunch of faceless, nameless people, and it was just all about coaching and plays and stuff like that, then you wouldn't care. You wouldn't pay people hundreds of millions of dollars. You would just say, well, we could just get whoever. So again, that is, to me, the biggest question mark in this game, because the Chiefs' offense is not that good. And now they're playing a depleted defense for the Bills. Does that balance it out? I don't really know. I don't know. I think defensive injuries are really difficult to gauge the impact on a game relative to offensive injuries, right? We know when you're down your starting wide receiver, your starting tight end, like it's just a different feel. You know how badly that's going to hurt your offense. When you're down a starting safety, or you're down a starting cornerback, or you're down, these types of players, it's just a little bit harder to really gauge as to like who can step up, who can do that. Who's ready to, be able to succeed in that moment. And I don't know. I'm not going to act like I have any idea in this situation, but it absolutely, because people are already saying, oh, you're just making excuses already for the Bills. And it's like, no, these are legit, real reasons. These aren't excuses. So to me, this game becomes more of a coin flip because of that. I think Josh Allen and the Bills will do great against the Kansas City Chiefs. And so what's made the Chiefs a good team, a good enough team this season has not been their offense, but it's been their defense. And even Nick has admitted that for the most part, depending on the day or episode. But with these injuries now, the offense should be able, the Chiefs' offense should be able to be better. So is their defense good enough to stop Josh Allen? And is the offense now good enough to take advantage of a poorly depleted defense? I don't know, because here's the thing. Patrick Mahomes did not look good against the Cincinnati Bengals, against one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Okay? And that was the game when they were still yelling at each other on the sidelines and having all these issues. They easily could have lost that game, especially if Cincinnati played a good offensive game, without a doubt. So I think, Nick Wright is trying to say that Brew is scared and nervous. I think, if anything, Nick Wright is a little nervous and hesitant because he knows that the offense is only so potent for the Chiefs, and that the reality is that if the Bills can hold their defense together, which is a big if, then I think Josh Allen's offense and the Buffalo Bills are good enough to get the Kansas City Chiefs.
If they're being honest, seeing their nightmares to this day, which is Travis Kelce running roughshod over that defense. Travis Kelce, who had in their first playoff matchup 115 and 2 touchdowns, their second playoff matchup another 100 and a touchdown, and oh yeah, by the way, the game-winning score on Matt Milano.
Oh, yeah, by the way, when you had Tyreek Hill playing with you as well. Like, what are you talking about? At this point, this was years ago. It has nothing to do with anything. Not to mention, Travis Kelce was also in his prime during those years. He is no longer in his prime. So what are you talking about right now? That makes no sense. 0 sense.
Who obviously is no longer playing or is out injured. Buffalo hasn't faced anything close to Kansas City's defense, and when they have faced great defenses...
They actually played them this year.
No, can't face anything close to Kansas City's defense. I'm sorry, I should have said this part, so I skipped that part of it. During this hot streak, it started with Kansas City, and since then, what have we seen? What have we seen,
technically
Brew?
be during the
Okay,
hot
you
streak?
understand what I'm saying.
They started the hot streak by beating Kansas City's defense.
That is correct. And since then, what we have seen Buffalo do is have intermittent spurts of excellent offense and intermittent spurts of their defense getting picked apart by whether it's Easton Stick or Bailey Zappi, or last week I watched Mason Rudolph move the ball up and down the field on him. So I don't think they have the personnel. I do think that the rest edge, in this case, it's unfortunate, but it matters.
So again, this is now Nick Wright, superfan for the Chiefs, saying that he does not think that the Bills have the personnel on defense. Let's say that that's 100% true. Then if the Chiefs beat the Bills, why is that on Josh Allen? That's what I don't understand. Because he will then continue to say, Patrick Mahomes best, Josh Allen, he's better, this, that, and the third. Look at what Josh Allen does in the playoffs. Again, you can't have it both ways. You can't say with such confidence that the Bills don't have the personnel and then blame Josh Allen for why they don't win. That's not fair. It's ridiculous. Not only does defense help you obviously win games, but then it also helps your offense because you either get extra possessions from turnovers or you get better field position. But if your defense isn't good, then the offense is starting on, the 10, 5, the 25, wherever every single time. That really matters. If you give a good quarterback like a Josh Allen a short field just once, that can be enough to, change the game entirely. So again, you can't just say emphatically of how inferior, because that's Nick's whole MO is, that Josh Allen is so inferior to Patrick Mahomes. And again, yet here we are, he's saying they don't have the personnel to stop Patrick Mahomes. So then how can we possibly blame Josh Allen? But that's what I think. What do you think? Please let me know in the comments below. And please don't forget to subscribe. And definitely please give this video a thumbs up, as it really helps with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.